straight couples do or gay male couples, some gay male couples do. And clearly not like you do with an animal or kids. I mean, everybody knows how that goes, right? So, if you have that group, lesbians, where it's not predicated on penetration, then you should have, by her definition, a culture, a sexual culture that is different from what she's complaining about, the sadistic one that deals with penetration. And that is something that is liberated, not repressive, not repressed in her view. Or she should take it to be that in her view. Which means that you should not find people making money off of pornography. And yet, I'm told, On Our Backs sells reasonably well.
About it as a style or a genre. I'm in favor of erotic art. I am desperate to find a way to reincorporate sexuality in the narrative that we give of our life.
So long as it doesn't involve penetration. That sounds hot. Stop touching me!
What are you doing? You are a savage creature, John Spartan, and I wish you to leave my domicile now.
And it's virtually impossible, because for some reason it gets hived off into this special realm. Pornography is not a style or a genre, it's a business. The target...
Saying it is a business does not negate that it's a style or a genre. Action movies are a genre. They are also a business. They're both.
Customer, regardless of whether...
So things that aren't necessarily related, like bestiality and normal, consensual, regular, run-of-the-mill, ordinary, banal, heterosexual sex, she piles all into one predicate. And things that should belong in the same predicate, she tries to separate into different predicates. It's like she's asshole backwards. I remembered you had an asshole.
The depicted act involves women, men, children, or animals is male.
By the way, women are animals, men are animals, and children are animals. So you could have just said, involves animals.
The need for pornography arises from our sexual incapacity. Now, I'm not going to do a men are from Mars and women are from Venus number here.
No, you should do a feminist take on that. Women are from Mars and men are from hell.
We have a problem of misunderstanding each other and having sexualities that are not symmetrical. Pornography perpetuates the stereotypic notion of sexual intercourse as essentially penetrative. The penis is rock hard, even though in most of the porn films I've seen, and I was a judge at the Wet Dream Film Festival in Amsterdam in 1972, in most of the films I've been made to watch, the penis is distinctly rubbery. Now that we have hard disk video cameras that can record 7 hours without changing the mag, maybe it's not as rubbery as it used to be. Maybe...
It's essentially penetrative. What? Okay.
Can actually stay with it till we get to the money.
But, yeah, I do agree with her on her sexual incapacity. Which is why she doesn't like porn. I don't like it because the people who engage in porn, I don't know who's to blame here, the directors or the actors, but they strike me as being a group of people who are sexually inept at everything they do. I can't imagine that again, I don't know who to blame, but whoever's responsible for the decisions that are made, for how it's portrayed, needs to be slapped about the head and neck repeatedly. Like this, whenever there's a blowjob scene, very commonly it goes like this. You start sucking it, you go down like 3 times, and then you stop and look up, and then you lick the side, and then do some other retarded shit, like you may as well be doing Reiki there, making some weird gestures. And then, you look up. If someone were doing that to me, stop, we're done. Get it. We're not fucking. You are retarded. By the way, ladies, just in case you're wondering, because these people think that if you see something in porn, you therefore think that's really what people in real world like, because when I look at fiction, actually I think this is the best model of reality I could find. Clearly, I should be doing this. which is why I am right now building my own phasers. Anyway, the whole licking the shaft thing, and look, it doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't feel good either. It's just kind of bleh, it's just kind of there. To the extent that the guy is going to like that, it's the visual effect. It isn't that your tongue is just so fucking wonderful that you're pleasuring the shit out of him. You're not. So, and some guys I've talked to said, no, I really like it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll make you a deal. I will find a girl who you think is just hot shit. She's the bee's knees. And I will just, I will talk her into this. Just sitting there licking the side of your dick for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and we'll see how sexually satisfying you actually find that. Oh wait, you won't find that sexually satisfying. After a while, it's like, okay, the visual, I'm kind of over this visual. We need to get some friction on that fucker. Put your mouth around it, and I know it's called a blowjob, but you gotta suck that motherfucker. If I blow a nut, blow like out my right nut, not gonna be good to anybody. By the way, that's a joke from Jay Hickman. This notion of playing with the frenulum, there are some few people for whom that really is. It provides them a sensation of such character that they can actually have a really good orgasm from it. One of the things that it does, because it is a sensitive area, is if you focus too much attention there, you overstimulate the nerves, and you make it much more difficult in the long run for the sex to be enjoyable. Jermaine was talking about the fact that their batteries are being changed. That's not why when you have sex for so long, you're getting a lot of attention on very sensitive nerves, and over time, you get diminishing returns on how pleasurable it is, and that makes it difficult to continue going. There's a reason that a sex act, the average amount of time it takes a guy to shoot isn't 5 hours. That is, if we were built for that, it would work just that way, but we're not. And that's why when you try to do these things for extended periods of time, you get inconsistent results. It's not how the nerves work. Mercedes Carrera was on a Google Hangout, I think it was, with Sargon of Akkad, Goodfellow. Wait, was Sargon there? Goodfellow was there, and some other, V. Monroe was there. Skeptor was there. I don't think Sargon was. Anyway, and she was saying that it's a psychological thing. That's why the guys have to wind up jacking themselves. It's not a psychological thing. It's physiological. You overstimulate that region, and it decreases the amount of sensation you actually do get in one respect, and it increases the sensation you get in another respect, and that makes it switches the balance in some way. It makes it that much more difficult to actually have an orgasm.
But the other problem is...
Oh, other things, like the whole... Jermaine Greer brings this up at some point, the debate about how the women in porn... when I watch this, I do really find that so goddamn annoying. I'm like, if ever there were some people it would be appropriate for ISIS to chuck off of a building, it'd be the director who wanted that shit put in there. I don't really think that. I mean, I don't really believe that people should be harmed for this, but, you know, the thought does cross my mind. I'm like, God, ugh. You know, it's so fucking frustrating.
That the behavior...
You tell me, guys, straight guys. I don't know. I'm not in a position to evaluate what straight guys do and don't like behavior-wise from women. But this fake... Do you guys really like that? Does that really do it for you?
The female, usually in these interactions, has been laid down.
Yes! Yes!
In which practically every woman made the little animal cries, the that say, your cock is giving me as much pleasure as it's giving you, which is a lie.
It is tremendously annoying.
Quite the most tragic of these fairly tragic items was the one made by the very successful woman now known as Katie Price. It was quite the saddest porn video I think I've ever seen. Now, if we're...
You should work in law enforcement if you want to talk about sad pornography.
Talking about how people learn how to take care of each other, one of the big problems with the porn that teenagers are watching is it doesn't give any importance to the condom. It doesn't bring